Cars are ready, the drivers are ready. We hope you're ready as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. As you can see, we're back with career mode, this time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're jumping straight into qualifying now, not mucking around with any of the practice programs, which we did off camera, of course. Built up some resource points. In the previous episode, we made sure we got some upgrades heading our way for this race in particular. Some weight reduction and also a durability upgrade to the gearbox. So our resource points have been drained a bit, and that's why there's nothing really going on in terms of the resource point front. So we'll just gloss over that for this race. But either way, heading into qualifying now for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This track, apart from Baku, was the worst of the season in Season 1. And well, if we can succeed this season, then I think our season is well and truly going to be on track as opposed to last year. But either way, here we are in quali. So far, sitting in P20, we were only doing the one run at the end of qualifying 1. I wanted to save some sets of tyres for later on in the weekend and wait for the track to rubber up. We come across a line and we go... Wait for it. Wait for it. P17! Oh, you're joking. Oh no, I look really stupid now. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. That is P17 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I thought we were actually able to get out of Q1 there, but turns out a lot of drivers improved in the final couple of minutes there. The marker that we set was actually going to be pretty decent, but more drivers improved at the end there, which is very, very embarrassing on my front. I know it may look like we've kind of rushed into things here, but don't worry, I did all the practice, I did all the build-up, and I was, fully, in the game and in the groove, but in the end, the lap was not good enough. So we're out in Q1, unfortunately, and we'll be starting towards the back. So since we're near last place, we're going to take this opportunity, take a brand new power unit, like we did last season. There's no point in just not making the most of this. We're only going to lose 3 spots, and we'll get a brand new power unit because we are actually really starting to struggle now for power units. So we'll chuck on power unit number 5, but we won't actually use that yet. We'll revert back to the second power unit and use that one later on in the season to hopefully get us through the season. So it's going to be 20th place for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Should we have a look at the gearbox? It is 32%. That should be fine. I want to see how long our gearbox can last for now that we've got 3 upgrades on the gearbox durability now. So hopefully that's fine, and we won't need to take a penalty this season. But yeah, we'll see how we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're quicker than 17th place, so let's see how we do. Hopefully points are on the table.
Well, the big question for me is whether or not we're going to see the cars able to follow each other closely enough to overtake, especially through the fast sections here. Of course, we've got DRS, and that will help on the straights, but it's still no good if you're coming off the previous corner too slowly or too far behind.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jeff. It's time now for the Bahrain Grand Prix, starting from last place on the grid. We have a 2-stop on our hands, going from the softs to the super softs, and then finishing on the softs as well. But we're going to switch up the strategy, have a little play with this, and see if we can make up some time on the Delta, since we are starting on with fresher tyres. We have a little bit more flexibility to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the supers, and it actually gave us a positive delta. So I thought if I play around with the pit stop numbers and the compounds a little bit, I'd see if I could maximize the strategy even more. And I found the best strategy was to start on supers, go on supers again after 9 laps, and then on lap 18 take the softs to the end, and we managed to improve the predicted race time delta by 1.4 seconds. So we'll see how this goes. I always want to be on the fastest tyre available for the start of these races, because yes, the McLaren is better than what it was last season, but you still want to have a fast tyre compound on the car so that you can at least move forward in the Grand Prix. There's no worse feeling than having like the slowest compounded tyre on, being last place and then making no progress. But here we go, ready for the start of the race. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Fairly even start for everyone in front of us, apart from Alonso, who gets left in our dust now as we range into turn 1. We'll go up the inside of Wehrlein, who makes a dive himself, but we take it even further though, and up the inside of one of the Toro Rossos, around the outside of them though, and that is us up into P11, something like that. Yes, it is. What a lucky guess that was. I swear I did not remember I was in P11. What a guess. Up the inside of a Renault, and that is P10 for the taking. So already, we've just halved our grid position in just 4 corners. So it's been a great start here for this Bahrain Grand Prix. This is why I wanted to be on the Supers, so that I can actually make progress and you know, be aggressive. Make it an entertaining race, an entertaining video for you guys as well. We got the inside of Grosjean, I think it was, and that is 9th place. He goes back up our inside, though, into the triple left-hander. We're getting back on the switchback, and it's going to be side-by-side down the back straight, which he will probably win. We'll chuck it up in rich revs, though, and see if we can out-drag him. It looks like he isn't running in rich, so we managed to hold on to that position and into 9th place. So great start so far. One of the best all season. I can't remember the last time I gained 11 spots on the opening lap. So yeah, it's been a real positive start, and hopefully we can continue to build on this. Grosjean, though, on the very next lap comes back at us on the start-finish straight. This is where we're really going to be lacking today in terms of straight line performance. I am running with like 4 wings in order to make up for the deficit that this engine is losing to the other teams in particular. But yeah, still, it's I don't think it's quite going to be enough with this engine, unfortunately. At most tracks, we can kind of hold our own, but at Bahrain, a real power track, and with heavy fuel consumption as well, I think we might struggle. That's an area we haven't actually touched upon yet with the upgrades, is the fuel efficiency. So we might struggle here to make it to the end, especially if we're going to be burning a lot of fuel in order to be competitive in a straight line. So we'll see how we go. This is why this race is going to be so tough for us, and Baku as well. But lap 4, again, having to fight off a very fast Romain Grosjean. We actually managed to string together some decent laps and catch up to the group ahead, including Massa, and also one of the Toro Rossos, is it? No, it's actually one of the Renaults in... No, it's a Haas. Never mind. It's a good thing my driving is better than my commentating. We make another place up on Massa, up the inside, and into 8th place. So, yeah, decent start. And the guys around us are now starting to struggle a little bit in terms of tyre wear, because they did their qualifying runs on those tyres. So now this is our time to really shine and make the most of this clear air and track position, as everyone else starts to pit very early for a 2-stop. And I'd hazard a guess to say that they're all going to go on mediums to make it to the end. This is a very early stop for the top 10 runners. You can see there we put on a real big squeeze there with Romain Grosjean. Again, he's just relentless. He continues to attack us on this start-finish straight. No matter how good of an exit I get off the final corner, it's not enough to keep Grosjean at bay. Maybe without DRS, it would be a different case, but that's the way it works in F1. We've just got to deal with the cards that we're given and see how we go at the end of the day. Grosjean makes his first stop, and he will be possibly going onto the softs if he's made it to lap 9. We can see Raikkonen comes out of the pits, and we'll probably keep that track position now that he's just rejoined in front of us. He will have cold tyres, but we just don't have the grip available at this stage to really challenge him. We didn't really want to anyway, because we're about to make our stop and onto the super softs. That's right, we're not going onto the softs, we're going onto the supers. So again, we're going to have a faster tyre than everyone else around us, and that should be the advantage that we should have in this part of the race. This should help us in maintaining some track position. We rejoin on the track. There's a Force India and a Haas approaching. That's Grosjean. Massa is getting in the mix as well, but Perez rejoins on top, and he is going to be pretty darn threatening towards our race now that we've got a Mercedes-powered car right behind us, as opposed to the Haas, the Ferrari-powered Haas. But either way, lap 11, Sergio flies out our inside into the back straight, and we're going to try and hold it around the outside there. We have the better tyres, we have the better chassis as well, so that allows us to hang in there quite nicely, and we hold on to the position through the fast right-hander and back into 11th place effectively. Didn't take him long, though, to smash right past us. It's even worse, yeah, when we're facing a Mercedes-powered car. It's going to be real tough, in all honesty, to keep him behind, but we're going to fight on as much as we can. We're almost wasting these supers as well by having to squabble with Perez so much. This is really the only spot he challenges me in, but every time I have to run side by side into this first corner, it just allows Sainz up the road to gain a little bit of a margin on us. But in the last few laps, though, the gap has been seesawing a little bit, and since we haven't been battling Perez as much, we were starting to make some gains on Sainz, and that's ultimately who I want to start catching up in this Grand Prix. Is yeah, Perez is just relentless. Won't go away, won't leave us alone. If he chucks it in lean revs for a lap or two, we might be able to build a bit of a gap on him, but he's just continuously wanting to get this position. But we're not letting him have it. The longer we can keep him at bay, the more it helps our race. And yeah, the more likely we are to finish in the points. I think we're doing quite well to still be in the points at this stage, given the lack of straight line speed we have at the moment. But lap 15, we're still trying to push on. You can see the gap to Carlos Sainz is reducing ever so slightly, but every time that Sergio Perez challenges me like that, he actually flew right past me, the less likely we are to catch him up. And I decided finally to let Perez go, see if you know, following him in the slipstream would allow me to get up to Sainz more quickly. It did, but unfortunately Perez had so much straight line speed that he just flew past Sainz anyway, and I effectively lost that position. So not the most smartest decision on my part, but we've now got a Williams in the form of Lance Stroll now challenging us as well. And if anything, the Williams of Stroll is probably going to be more dangerous to us. That was very tight there between us, Sainz, and Ricciardo. Ricciardo was on my inside. I was locked up massively, trying to get around the outside of Ricciardo, and I pretty much ran into the back of Carlos Sainz in the process. That was mad. But thankfully, we don't have any damage. This is a replay of Daniel Ricciardo having a go at us, just 3 corners after coming out of the pit lane on his fresh medium tyres. Now, this is going to be very hard to manage because he's on fresher tyres. He's going to be damn quick in a straight line. I didn't want to get involved in the battle too much, so I thought, let's just take ourselves out of this. Let's dive into the pits and go onto the soft compound tyres. It just so happened that Carlos Sainz was diving into the pits as well. Does he go onto the soft compound tyres, though? That is the question. He might go mediums again as we rejoin on the track. Slightly held up a little bit as a car was on our inside in the fast lane. Sainz does rejoin on the mediums, though, so that does give us a bit of an advantage for the next 10 laps of this Bahrain Grand Prix, so we'll see what we can make of this. Alonso pits. He's nowhere in this race. He's going to be like midfield, like P15 or something like that, once everything shakes up the inside of Sainz. And I'm going to be honest here, I wasn't really going for the move there. I was just trying to get close to him. And we got so close that he just left the door open, and that was 12th place for the taking. Which, again, I'm not overly happy with the way that the AI behave when you get really close to them in a braking zone. Sometimes they do leave too much space and give you the position completely. Daniel Ricciardo now is out of the Grand Prix, so that's going to promote us back into the points now, and could be very crucial for our race because it looked like that we got jumped by Romain Grosjean, and he's a few seconds up the road. Potentially won't be able to challenge him in this race, and so with that retirement by Daniel, gives us an opportunity to score in the points now, as it looks like we've lost a little bit of ground to a few of the guys in the upper midfield. Like I said, our lack of pace is really starting to show here. We're not able to run in rich as much as the fuel is really starting to burn away now. 6 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and we're having to defend really heavily against Lance Stroll now. So, yeah, like I said, guys, this is our weakest track apart from Baku. If we can get points here, then that would be absolutely outstanding. But 5 laps to go. We've got both of the Williams now attacking us into the start, finish straight into the braking zone of turn 1. They're still going side by side for the 2 of them. And, yeah, the more squabbling that they can do, the more it's going to help me, obviously. You can see side by side through there. Absolutely mental scenes. Looks like Massa, though, probably rejoined on top. No, Stroll overtaking briefly, and then Massa got him into turn 4. That's how I remember it anyway. But lap 24, Massa goes up the inside through the final corner. Not the best run through that corner either. We give Massa a massive squeeze, almost into the pit wall there, just to kind of, you know, scare him off doing the move, but it didn't work out in the end. We have to leave him a little bit of space in order to not crash, and Massa, massive lock up into turn 1. We get the spot back, and that is 10th place. This is defensive driving 101, basically like the esports race a couple of days ago that you guys saw. And when it comes to defending 10th place or fringe points, you know, you've got to put everything on the line, because if you fall out of the points, that's it. Like, you may as well end your race. You've got to, you know, give it your all. Otherwise, you know, 11th place is only as good as a DNF anyway. So you just got to defend with everything you've got. Again, here comes Massa up the inside into the back straight. Not a great exit off of the triple left-hander. And Massa gets us back, though. Went in a little bit too deep, and we managed to get him on the exit. Have to leave a bit of space through the fast right-hander contact at 200 kilometers an hour, probably 250 or even more. And yeah, Massa gets the spot back. We're in a slipstream though. We're going to run in Rich and see if we could possibly dive bomb him into the final corner. We might even wait for DRS though. Massa leaves the space. And that's a shocking exit from Massa. Completely opens the door for us. We're going to have DRS as well. I don't know why I was surprised about that. The detection point was before the final corner. It's 3 wide between all of us. And now it's going to be last of the late break. He's heading into turn 1 to see who's going to get a points finish in this Grand Prix. I can't even talk. The guy on the medium tyres, I believe it was Stroll, locked up massively and gave up the spot to me. Lewis Hamilton wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Won it by an absolute mile, quite convincingly in the end. It was a Mercedes track after all. And now the Williams-powered cars are... Oh, what is this? The Williams are squabbling away for 11th place, and that allowed me to get away ever so slightly in the middle sector. Through the final corner, though, it looks like we're going to come out on top here and get one singular point at the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was pretty close at the end, though.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
So there we go. The Bahrain Grand Prix. 10th place in the end. You know, it's not a fantastic result, but hey, we'll definitely take it. If you remember back to Season 1, this race was really depressing for us. I think we got something like 17th or 18th place, and we were nowhere in that race. But today, at least we were in the fight, and we were able to hang on and at least fight with the midfield runners on arguably one of our worst tracks. So, you know, if we can pull out this kind of result today after starting last, that just shows how much of a better position we're in versus where we were last season. So I'll certainly take that. And the driver's standings, we've lost a spot down to 10th. And yeah, there's nothing much you can really say about that. We'll bounce back in the next one and see what we can make of it. We've got some interesting tracks coming up next. We've got Russia, Spain, then Monaco, then Canada, like Austria. Some really good tracks there. And then we go to the dreaded Baku. So yeah, we've got an interesting season lined up. We are going to start focusing on some downforce upgrades in the near future. So hopefully we can be a little bit more consistent in terms of our car pace. Track to track, because we are looking quite good from a chassis standpoint. Our engine is okay, could be better, but I don't think I'll be working on that until we get to like Spa, Monza. But yeah, for now we're just improving the fundamentals of the car, and we have 665 resource points. Nothing we can really do in the way of upgrades. I think what I'll be doing first is actually be doing a wind tunnel efficiency upgrade to make the upgrades cheaper going into the future for the downforce, just to make it, you know, a little bit better for us in the long run, heading into Season 3 at least, making things cheaper. But there we go, that's been this episode for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, to see plenty more F1 2017 videos. And yeah, I know this might not have been the most gracious Grand Prix, or, you know, we did have some really good fights, and we really did have to be desperate to hold on to there. But yeah, in the end, not a whole bag load of points like you guys were probably anticipating. But yeah, if we can get this result here today, then just imagine the kind of results we can get at other tracks that are a little bit more suited towards our car. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next race, the Russian Grand Prix, I'll see you guys next time.